So John, we've decided to do this podcast, so let's just get into it.
Yeah, so welcome to Navigate Now. This is the podcast where we're going to explore everything around people and place. It's important to get a clear understanding of how we navigate around the built environment, and that's just what we're going to start exploring. We all know that navigating space is really important for all sorts of different types of people, different locations, different situations, but also everyone is different with their different needs. So we think it's really important to have this conversation about how we can make the journey appropriate and relevant for everybody. So when we think about the people that navigate around the environment, it's important that we understand the places that they use as well. So we can think about the landmarks, we can think about the buildings, we can think about other aspects of the built environment. It's important that we get a perfect understanding of the people and the places, and that's what we're going to start exploring. So this is what wayfinding is all about. It's about that effective journey. It's about innovation. So we want to be discussing the topics that are going to take navigation to a new level, whether it's AR, AI, all these various key aspects of navigation technology, but also those aspects that you might not necessarily think about are cutting edge. We want to have those conversations, those discussions, to understand how we can make buildings, places and environments easy to find your way around.
So let's get started. I am Sandhya Seshan.
And I'm Docksey.
And welcome to our podcast. So what is this podcast all about? So we are the Navigate Now podcast, where we'll be looking at wayfinding and wayshowing and looking at all of the intricacies that we deal with on a daily basis when it comes to navigation and wayfinding. So in each episode, we're going to be looking at the intricacies of navigation. We're going to be looking at its importance in various domains, and also its role in the future, where it's leading. So the podcast is designed to be casual and conversational, where we'll be looking at a 360-degree view of all of these aspects and dive into them a little bit more. From spatial design to accessibility to human factors and environmental psychology, we're aiming to look at a 360-degree view on all these subjects.
We're also thrilled to bring on a range of guests to have a great dialogue and lots of different conversations to get various perspectives on how journeys and navigation and wayfinding all come together as well. When we do this, we're going to bring in lots of different insights, and we're going to be able to explore the aspects of journey, of place, of navigation, of people from lots of different perspectives. Doing that, we'll get a great insight into this space. Clara came out of Design JD. Design JD's been around since 2006, so we've got a wealth of experience in those two aspects that we specialise in, branding and wayfinding. Now Claro is the brand that we've created that's been born out of Design JD to focus specifically on wayfinding, to help people find their way around that built environment. It's really important that we have a clear message when we're communicating to all of the people that we're talking to, whether it's town centres, shopping centres, business parks, airports, anywhere really where you can find it difficult to find your way around or find it quite easy to get lost, and I guess maybe they're the same thing.
Yeah.
So maybe I should explain the word claro. Claro is a Portuguese and a Spanish word. It's used in conversation when someone's communicating something that just becomes obvious. So they might say, claro. So when we were thinking about a specific brand for the wayfinding work that we're involved with over the last many years, claro just made sense. Because what is wayfinding? It's about making journeys clear and obvious. Claro. So that's where we came up with the word.
So who are we? If this is the first time you're hearing about us, so let's just introduce ourselves.
So I'm Docksey. So I'm the director of Claro and of Design JD. So my background, I studied something called information design at university at the London College of Communication back in the day. But then what we did was we specialised in understanding data and making it really obvious and clear of how we communicate that to the audience that is required at that particular time. That really got my interest in how that works in the built environment as well. So thinking from a place point of view, one of the very first projects we worked on was a wayfinding scheme for a hospital in North London, a new build hospital. And there we were able to work with the interior designers, the architects, and the various fit-out organisations to make sure that that journey was seamless for every patient and every experience. I think that was really important to learn it in that particular regard. So I've spoken around the world, won various awards, and the work that we've done with the Design JD and now with Clara coming about is going to be really effective for all sorts of situations, whether that's hospitals, shopping centres, town centres, business parks, industrial estates, airports, stadiums. Those places need to have some thinking behind the signage.
And I'm Sandhya Seshan. I'm the Wayfinding strategy lead at Clara. So a little bit about myself. I did my bachelor's in architecture back in India, where I studied about places, people-place interactions, and how we ourselves act in an environment. And so that kind of gave me a little insight about these kind of interactions. And that's when I got to know about wayfinding. And looking at wayfinding and how I was particularly interested about how people interact with the space, how we behave in a space, how the space influences us. And so that's when I got to know about wayfinding, about the human factors. And so I decided to pursue my master's in ergonomics and human factors. And side by side, I started working and understanding about wayfinding. And so during my master's at Loughborough University here in the UK, I got to understand about two aspects, ergonomics and human factors. Ergonomics spoke about the how we our body, the anatomy, how the space around us, how products can be designed for our comfort. And then the human factors aspect of it was basically all of those different aspects like stress, fatigue, cognitive dimensions, and how those aspects affect all of these factors, including navigation and wayfinding. And so I was able to bridge the gaps between architecture, our mental ability while we were navigating through a space, and kind of bridge all these gaps and bring all of them together. So it gave me kind of a whole round perspective. Also, in my free time, I like to travel, and I also sketch, do a lot of urban sketching. So I have this, I find looking at people, watching them, looking at their interactions, and it's very interesting. And so I kind of document all of that. So that's where my interest for navigation, wayfinding, human factors, ergonomics all comes into being.
Yeah, that's really cool, because that reminds me of something that came about like when I was younger. Apparently, so my mum tells me that I didn't want to read. So mum said to me, Jonathan, you need to learn to read, because when you grow up, you're going to have to read the signs. Now, Clara, we help people navigate around spaces and make sure the signage is one aspect of helping them move around those spaces. So it's great to bring those wealth of experience together.
Yeah.
So besides us two, we have a wider team at Claro. So that ranges from developers, so thinking about interactive and digital wayfinding, illustrators to make sure we have the right information on the interpretation boards, etc., for our projects and for the destinations that we get to work with, and also designers to make sure that everything's accessible and legible, using the right colours, the right typography. All that theory comes together to make sure every project is on point, accessible and consistent every time. We're also an independent agency, and what does that mean? It means we work with a range of partners on the implementation of our schemes. So we'll work with signage contractors, lighting contractors, anyone that will bring in those facilities to be able to then take the wayfinding interventions that will improve that journey into reality. And as independent, we can then make sure that we're bringing the right people with the right skill sets to deliver the solution for every project we work on.
Yeah. Join us as we embark on this journey where we explore, learn, and have great conversations around a various range of topics.
So thanks for joining us on this introductory episode of Navigate Now. We're your hosts, John
and Sandhya,
and we're thrilled to start this journey of exploration and learning with you. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes where we're going to have some awesome conversations around a whole range of different topics. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of the above, to join us and build our great community as we discuss everything around wayfinding, place and people.